Well, unfortunately, we begin with the news, an incident which could have been completely avoidable. But what happened was chaos and confusion that unfolded right outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium, and a stampede that was fatal to those 11 lives that have been lost and over 40 of them injured. A moment that was meant to be a day to rejoice and celebrate the victory of Royal Challengers Bangalore, but it turned out to be a situation of despair and sorrow. 11 people who died at the Chinnaswamy Stadium right outside when they were eager to catch a glimpse of their heroes tragically lost their lives. But imagine how unfortunate it was. While just outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium, you had RCB fans gasping for breath. Inside the stadium, however, shockingly, the celebrations continued. So the Deputy CM even went out to make a statement before the media right before entering the statement. So was he in the know of the situation that was evolving outside the stadium? Why wasn't the program stopped? Why were there then pictures being taken with the trophy and the team members exactly when it comes to the RCB players who were posing for a photo with the squad? However, the Deputy CM later also issued an apology. But for what? He blamed the BJP for playing politics.
I don't want to explain all those things, but we are very sorry for this incident. We all will work out for a better solution in the future. The BJP is a double standard. They are doing double standard. They are doing politics. They are doing on the deathbed they wanted to do politics. They only said that allow for the procession. Allow for the procession. When procession was not been allowed, only this has happened. If you have allowed for a procession, what would have been the situation?
Now, the state government has ordered for a magisterial inquiry and has formed a one-member fact-finding committee to look into the lapses in planning, control and security arrangements. Now, the fact-finding committee has been tasked to submit a report within 15 days. However, the Chief Minister also blamed the unexpected crowds and also accused the BJP of playing politics over the matter.
Nobody has expected so much of crowd will come because the capacity of the stadium is only 35,000. But 2 to 3 lakh people have come to participate in the celebration. I do not want to play politics here in this case. BJP people are playing politics. Our government is not going to play politics. ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಈಗ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಹಿಂದೆ ನಡೆದಿತ್ತು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನ? ಕುಂಭಮೇಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು 50-60 ಜನ ಸತ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಪೀಡ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
The Chief Minister went on to mention even the Kumbh tragedy in which he says over 50 to 60 lives were lost, but the state government wasn't blamed. Watch how all sides have shirked responsibility conveniently. The Chief Minister blaming the Karnataka Cricket Association, the Deputy CM blaming the crowd and not his police, the BCCI Secretary putting the onus on the franchise and the state administration, while the IPL chairman has blamed the state and the leaders who were involved in the felicitation ceremony, as they claim that no BCCI official was part of the event. In fact, they did not know that such kind of a victory parade would be carried out.
And it can happen in any state. That means the party in power there should not be blamed for this. First we should ascertain the facts. After that we should decide what should happen and who is responsible. It can happen in any state ruled by any political party. That much if at times it happens in some state where BJP is in power, we should not blame BJP also.
Imran and Neha connected with us right now. Neha, if this tragedy that was completely avoidable would not have taken place, probably today we would have been talking about this victory parade that was being carried out. But one of the most arguable points are, if when it comes to the anticipation wasn't there of 2 to 3 lakh people, then why was a victory parade in such a haste carried out in the first place?
And that's the most pertinent question that now arises, Amita, because, you know, if we are to just give our viewers a lowdown of the pandemonium that was witnessed outside the stadium yesterday, I'd like to show you, you know, this very stretch outside the stadium is where that stampede took place. You know, just look at what remains of, you know, all of those people there who lost their lives, all of those who were injured. You have, you know, footwear that's just lying around over here, really raising questions right now about, you know, how much chaos possibly took place here. Why was it not planned? You know, when we, of course, go again to talk about who's really responsible and who's going to take accountability over here, evidently everyone's just been shrugging their shoulders here. You talk about, of course, you know, the franchisee itself that has made that announcement of the victory parade happening, not informing the government, not seeking permission. Now, the government were in question about this. When we asked the Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar, about this, of course, you know, he said that's not something I'd like to comment about, but we've stopped a bigger tragedy from happening. Clearly, of course, you know, raising questions about whether 11 lives being lost, 43 to 45 people being injured was not a big enough tragedy now for the government, really, you know, of course, to
bigger tragedy being avoided. Well, this tragedy is also big. 11 lives that have been lost. It doesn't mean, as far as when it comes to all of these lives, that surely do matter to the state government. Compensation that has been announced, but is that enough? Who will actually, at the end of the day, take responsibility of such kind of a negligence? Because this is exactly what the BJP is arguing, that these deaths are actually because of criminal negligence, asserting that the Congress has blood on its hands.
Without any proper preparedness, state government's urgency to organize victory rally is the cause for this big tragedy. And state government never bothered about preparedness. State government was more interested in publicity.
It is a state-sponsored criminal negligence, a state-sponsored murder. And Mr. Siddaramaiah, Mr. Shivakumar and the Home Minister are directly responsible. They must resign. On the one hand, people have died and you are continuing with the celebrations brazenly. This is your sensitivity. Congress speaks a lot, but it had nothing to say today.
I demand the judicial inquiry. So I have a message, the police not given the permission. They refuse. Night 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, some senior minister called the police officers. No, not possible, sir. We can't control 2 lakhs people. No barricade, you want to 24 hours time, at least minimum. 2 hours, 2 days, we want at least 24. I am the government. I am saying, give the permission.
So was there police permission given or not in the first place? Exactly as far as how shockingly disproportionate has been when it comes to the presence of the police deployed for crowd management, and how exactly the crowd went uncontrollable, where what was being anticipated around 35,000 capacity stadium turned out to be more than that, as far as 2 to 3 lakh. That is what the Chief Minister has been saying. As far as when it comes to 11 lives that have been lost, here are the reports that have been coming in of the tragic deaths, the information that started to trickle in, but shockingly, in a statement and completely of insensitivity, the blatant show of insensitivity was visible when inside the ceremony continued. The state government, which announced now a compensation of 10 lakh to those kin of those who died in the stampede, and it has decided now to appoint a one-member fact-finding committee. But exactly what would be the role of this fact-finding committee, which has been asked to submit its report within 15 days, when the Deputy CM already has given a clean chit to the police saying that they did their best, while it was the crowd that was unmanageable. Now, in the initial moments, D.K. Shivakumar issued an apology. But what exactly was that apology for? That they had to cut short the program for the RCB victory parade or inside the Chinnaswamy Stadium because they came to know of the chaos that was unfolding outside.
I think this is not a controllable crowd. Actually, I apologize for all the people of Karnataka and Bangalore. We wanted to give a precision but the crowd was very uncontrollable. I don't blame my police department. They have done their best. But ನೀವೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ, crowd ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ, ಯಾರು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ದೊಣ್ಣೆಗೆ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಡೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. We cut off a lot of programs were there. We didn't want to continue with the program. Only within 10 minutes with one round we just closed it.
Well, Imran is joining with us. He is there at the hospital where the injured are receiving treatment. Imran, as far as the official numbers that have been suggesting of 11 lives that have been lost, those pictures were horrifying, including looking at little children, how they were gasping for breath. Many of them also bloodied pictures of people who were injured during the stampede started to came in as far as these victory celebrations were taking place.
Well, absolutely, horrifying pictures for not just the RCB fans, but anybody who was looking onto the screens there. People in Bangalore were shocked, the kind of scenes they witnessed yesterday. People running over each other, people grasping for breath, people unable to breathe. These are the scenes witnessed at the stadium, where Chinnaswamy Stadium, when the lakhs of people turned up because of the mismanagement of the government, that its 11 lives have been lost. We saw how a kid also died because of, unfortunately, because of the stampede, and we saw other people. One woman was carried on her shoulder, and other scenes which we usually witness in a tragic warlike state situation. It happened in that Chinnaswamy Stadium yesterday in Bengaluru. The first time RCB got the cup, but the victory turned into a tragedy there at Bengaluru, and the government is blaming, saying that they didn't expect this many people would turn up. In fact, the Chief Minister himself, holding the fort at the press conference, said that it is not our fault, beyond our capacity or imagination, people turned up. And it is a tragedy nobody could have prevented, because the sheer number of people who turned up there. Now, the official figures given by the Chief Minister is that 11 people have died, and also 37 people are still got serious injuries. The government has announced compensation, but is that enough? They have given a one-man person to inquire into this incident, but these are what looks like already we have seen in the past. This is just to satisfy the anger of the people and to get some time for the government. We have seen all these kind of inquiry
will they turn
reports.
into another statistics as far as when it comes to the lives that have been lost? Clearly an incident that could have been avoided had there been better preparations on ground. Well, Imran and Neha, thank you very much for the moment for joining us live. Now, when we talk about accountability, here is the Chief Minister, and hear him exactly what he says, because he's putting the blame on the people, on the fans, on the crowd. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says while the capacity of the stadium was only 35,000, they did not anticipate that the crowd of over 2 to 3 lakh people would turn up for celebrations. But the question is, throughout the area, the route where they could see that the crowd was building up when there was victory parade that was being taken out, why weren't additional security measures or arrangements made when the crowd was actually swelling?
Nobody has expected so much of crowd will come, because the capacity of the stadium is only 35,000 people. Only 35,000 seats are there. But 2 to 3 lakh people have come to participate in the celebration.
Now, as far as Rajiv Shukla is concerned, who is the Vice President of the BCCI and a Congress MP, was also quick to give a clean chit to his party, saying that the state government or the political party must not be blamed for the tragedy.
And it can happen in any state. That means the party in power there should not be blamed for this. First we should ascertain the facts. After that we should decide what should happen and who is responsible. It can happen in any state ruled by any political party. That much, if at times it happens in some state where BJP is in power, we should not blame BJP also.
Well, all we have witnessed so far, unfortunately, is the passing of buck and shifting of blame. Now, while the Chief Minister blames the crowd, his deputy already gives a clean chit to the police. The organizers of the felicitation ceremony, they say that it was KSCA, which was Karnataka State Cricket Association, which is BCCI affiliate responsible. The BCCI on its part is shifting the blame on the IPL franchise RCB. The RCB in turn is now putting the onus on the local authority, saying that it was simply following their guidance and advice as well. We also had a word with the IPL chairman Arun Dhumal, who claims that there was no knowledge, first of all, of this victory parade and this felicitation ceremony that would be taking place.
The question that is resonating is, after such a successful IPL tournament, a day of celebrations turn into a day of tragedies. Who's really responsible?
As far as BCCI is concerned, I would want to make a limited point. For BCCI, IPL ended last night with the handing over of trophy and all the celebrations that were to take place that took place in Ahmedabad. We had no knowledge of any such event taking place in Bangalore today. In fact, I got to know about it from media only. And that is how I got to know, and then I spoke to the officials and they didn't know, they were inside the stadium, that what has happened outside. So I, in fact, told them that whatever has happened, please close it out immediately, and they did it so.
Well, that's an unfortunate